So that scenario, if they're going to buy one, then I would say 16 setups at the middle school, 15 still at the high school.
Okay, so that is pretty much included into this then?
In a way.
In a way, yeah. But I'm trying to, there's so many people that have such goodwill that if you can bundle things together, you get better pricing because you're doing more volume.
Okay.
You know, to give you an example, we're saving over, when we bought the projector units for the smart boards last September, and we only bought 6, with the quantity that we're getting now, we're saving about $150 a projector, which that adds up.
Now, the million-dollar question, are we going to be able to get these within the 2 weeks to where we don't have to worry about
Okay,
free cash?
I have pretty much, sold all my children at this point. I have people sort of hovering, just waiting for the phone call.
Okay, so we would fall within the 2-week
I'm not going to lie to
timeframe
you,
to where
the whiteboard thing is going to be
Touch and go.
touch and go, because this whole extra week has really put that whole project way behind,
Okay.
so. Mike?
Quantity on the smart boards is 30?
No, those are Mimeo boards. I just don't want, it's kind of like the,
Okay, it says smart board.
Yeah,
Vimeo Interactive. Is
I
it
think
30?
it would be 30,
Okay.
yes.
Projectors, how many?
73.
73 projectors. One each, I imagine, on the software services. I'm just trying, monitors, how many? One?
No, monitors
monitors are
are
for-
25. Those are just
for flash.
replacing.
25. Computers, how many?
That's
That's the,
28,
That's-
30. It's the netbooks,
Tablets?
5.
One printer copy?
No,
Scanner?
that's 3, one for each media center. And that really gives the teachers the ability also to,
I just needed to have some
Yep.
quantities here. I
Yep.
have the dollars, I didn't
Yep.
have the units. Thank you.
yeah,
Beth, I have a question.
Yes.
I've actually not seen the Mimeo Interactives, unfortunately. Now, you mentioned there's a pen. My only question is, middle school, high school, pen, is it attached? Is it something that the kids can stick in their pocket? Are we gonna be having to replace these? And if
I
so,
went
what's
to
the
a middle
cost?
school, in Toward Middle School, where they're using these units, and I asked that same question. Replacement pens, $79, so that's always a concern. But they've been using these units in a middle school, so, and it's it's a city school, so it's, I would say that there's probably more activity in the discipline office there than we might see in ours.
Right.
And they have not had any problems with the kids, like, just like here, you don't see speakers disappearing off of computers because the kids like them. It's something that they
take
they want to
ownership.
have
Yeah,
here.
right.
They want to have here.
Okay,
so.
okay. Tony?
The Chair, Beth, these Mimeo boards aren't something upgradable in the future to a smart board. It's two different
They're
don't
two
think you have
separate,
to.
it's kind of, it's two different things. The software, as that gets upgraded, that's included at no charge, very much like the smart boards. The part that I like about it, should, 10 years from now, something happen to that piece, it can be replaced. The smart board is totally,
It's a whole
it's a
system.
whole system.
Yeah.
We
So
can
if it
research
goes,
the
it
board right
goes.
I think they were talking last night at the middle school. They're just resurfacing some boards
Yes.
to make it the whiteboard, and we can
Yes.
just do that in the future if we have problems with any of the boards.
So, in
But these monitors hang from the ceiling, they're mounted.
the projectors,
Yes.
they
Yes.
actually from the wall, because Mike has asked me to stay away from our ceilings, because that is a whole nother can of worms we would probably,
You also have the issue that we're putting a lot of pressure on Mike, God
Yes.
bless you,
yeah, that's
because he ends up doing a lot of this work, or at least chasing the people who come in and do the installations to make sure they do them right. Because, when they leave out the door, he's going to be the one trying to fix it if they didn't do it right. So a lot of this is in a year where, I want to take the opportunity to do these things, but at the same time, we have to be cognizant that it's probably going to take them all summer. And on top of that, we have building projects going on. So
We can drive around in a nice brand-new truck.
that will, I think I can speak for Mike to say that would help.
It would. I'm sure getting back and forth would be,
Well, he jumped.
Go ahead.
Just the whiteboards.
Yes.
I don't think I'm misunderstanding.
Nope.
We have a whiteboard behind us
Yes.
here? So this is to upgrade the writable boards
Yes,
in the
surface.
classrooms.
Get rid of the
For a long
chalkboard,
time,
all
we've
of the
been going
dust.
from chalkboards to this surface, and we need to resurface.
Yes.
That I have. The technology behind smart boards versus Mimeo, there seems to be some questions. I thought we were looking at equipment that could be upgraded to a full-fledged smart board, but I'll just cross out smart board.
Well,
My third comment, and it has to do with something that's not on here, but I thought I know it's been a discussion as we've addressed technology needs, and that is laptops for students. I don't see that addressed here. I don't see, to me, we have, how many freshmen are coming in?
Can I answer that?
How many freshmen are coming in? 100 and?
Just about 100. But when you take a look at computers, we use that as a category. You have 30 notebooks. That's what that
And-
big piece is, plus another laptop, plus a server.
And then the
So I
other
just
one,
My
categorize
question
them.
is what would it take, and might it make more sense to take this funds that we found and have a discussion about 100 computers, notebooks, for the 100 freshmen coming in, and start to address this new teaching technology utilizing notebooks? In finance, the FinCom committee, it came up, it may be a reduction in textbooks costs. Trying to get my handle around a huge technology budget here without looking
a
at
couple of things. In
netbooks or
next year's
laptops.
budget, besides what you're seeing here, there is a lab budgeted for the high school and at the elementary school. So that, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like. One of the things I just, along the same lines, we're having those same discussions. Textbooks are becoming more available electronically. Could you take care of stuff with an iPad? Could you get a netbook? Could you use one of the other devices out there? And as I always say to Dr. Colley, I like being on the cutting edge. Sometimes the bleeding edge is a little hard to take. iPads, not really made for education. They're an entertainment tool. Do they have educational value? Absolutely. But they're not catering to the educational market. We had the HP people come in. They have a new product coming out, going to be released at the end of this month, that is also iPad-like, but has a different operating system, can support the flash, which is huge for the electronic textbooks piece, because a lot of those are interactive. You got to realize that on an iPad, those wouldn't work. Doesn't accept proxy server settings yet. So as much as we keep on looking at that, and the reason why
not
you're
ready.
seeing some tablets here is because we're going to get a few and try and see, you have to kind of go through things trial and error. It would be nice to get every student a laptop, but I can't even plug in the laptops that I have when the batteries start to go dead, because there's a whole infrastructure
That we don't
piece
have.
to that. Netbook's a little bit better with that because the battery life is longer, but in order to roll out a one-to-one initiative, we would really have to talk about what that means for staff, because that just means now I have 100 more users that like to be curious, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but every place that has put in a laptop initiative has put some staff behind it, because it's usually great the first year. By year 2,
You
things
start
start
to
to
see.
fall apart. And then you have to replace them, because once you put them in,
I gotta use them
you have to keep, the next class coming in is going to want something.
I just have one question.
Well, I just wanted to reiterate where I still had the floor, and I appreciate, because it seems like we're on the same page, and that's where some of my concerns were, the need for staff, for projectors. That's why I was asking about the quantities.
Yeah.
We now have 73 projectors. We have some new technology. We need new technology.
Yes.
Totally agreement.
Yeah.
I personally like the idea of of a strategy of having netbooks in every student's hand. I believe it's a direction we want to embrace. Tonight, maybe not, but I question if there's going to be some support needed for some of this equipment. It's
Well,
new here in front of us, and
One of
that's
the
my
things I can
concern.
tell you, negotiating these things with for example, the Mimeo boards, they're giving me a day's worth of training. With the smart boards, they're giving me 2 hours worth of training. The nice part about getting 73 projectors is they're all the same. Anybody who's ever had to maintain anything will tell you if they're all the same, that makes life so much easier, because now I can just get 10 spare bulbs, and I don't need to keep one of every flavor. And I'm comfortable with these projectors because we've had them in the district now for the past year. We have had, other than a message saying, please clean my filter, we've had no problems. They've been very user-friendly. The teachers don't have any problems with them. So,
Thank you.
Beth, I have one question for you.
Yes.
Regarding the textbooks and the laptops.
Yes.
My daughter is she loves the online textbooks.
Yep.
She's studying for her finals right now. She doesn't bring her books ever. She goes right online and does the interactive stuff with her textbook. That wouldn't necessarily alleviate the purchase of the textbook, am I right? Do you still have to have the
correct.
textbook
There's
in order
still-
to have the
there's-
license to go online?
Yes, and you save about $10 between the print version and the electronic version.
Sometimes you save $10, and sometimes the price is the same, whether you buy online access or you buy the book. So all the books that we're buying now all come with an online book that students can access. We have rights to one online and every paper book we buy. So we know we're headed in that direction.
And then the other part that is very important not to lose sight of is online books are great, but they're online. I know your child is an athlete. Every kid these days is going here, there, and everywhere. I don't know what the back of your car looks like, but mine often has notebooks and books. And I haven't yet found something that's tablet-like that I can download the electronic book into, not requiring internet access.
Right.
And I think that's when I'll say to Dr. Colley, I can get behind this and feel like it's a good alternative.
You have to be connected.
Right. I mean, as much as, yes, there's Nooks and Kindles out there, if you read the literature on either one of them, they will tell you, will not reformat textbooks. The Nook is just starting to get there, and I know that only because I have one, but it is like a nightmare. If you read the boards, like these are kids who are in college
They can't get
majoring
it
in
done.
IT, having problems. So again, it's that cutting edge, bleeding edge thing. So I want you to know that we're hearing you, and that's why the reason your child and what do we have? Pretty much all of the 3 of the 10th grade books, 5th grade books.
Beth and I had started that conversation about our 10th grade books, because if we get the new biology book, it will mean that all 4 of the major courses in 10th grade will be online access
Good.
with the new literature book that we're buying. And so that's how we started looking into that same thing. We thought of maybe a pilot group of students who would have, we tried this out with, we were thinking an iPad kind of technology at first, and
That'll
then
work.
realized that that's not the best, and work toward the laptop. But we've started to run into some of these issues, but I think we left it with the idea that next year,
We'll
pick it
revisit
up
it.
right away where we left off, because there are 2 reasons. Some of the new textbooks are just, the bad news is companies have bought each other out, and you now have very few companies to choose from in textbooks. The good news is, in some cases, they've produced really rich instructional materials where they've merged different company books together. But the books are now 1,600 pages long. And if you have a child in school and you've seen one of the new books, 2 or 3 of them is too much, almost too much for a student to carry. It's, for a while there, we thought, students are,